Time to pull up a chair. We've got another great story for you today in the rLounge. Today in the rLounge, somewhere between educational programming and boundaries, an entire generational wealth plan detonated, a marriage imploded, and a grandfather discovered just how revocable trusts really are, all because someone turned off the TV. Son blocked me from seeing my grandkids, so I canceled the trust fund I set up for them. I'm sitting in my home office right now, still trying to process what just happened about 20 minutes ago. My son blocked my number. Not after some massive fight, not after years of tension building up. He blocked me because I told his wife she was being unreasonable about screen time during my last visit to see the grandkids. Let me back up a bit because I need to get this all out. I'm 64, retired a few years back after selling a business I built from the ground up. It took me decades, but I did well for myself. My son is 35, been married for 9 years, and they have 2 kids. A girl who's 7 and a boy who's 4. When each of them was born, I set up trust funds, $500,000 each, set to mature when they turned 25. So last week I was over there for a visit. The kids were watching some educational show about science or nature or something. They'd been watching for maybe an hour when my daughter-in-law came in and shut it off, said they'd have enough screen time for the day. The kids were upset, but whatever, her house, her rules. But then she made this comment about how I probably let them watch TV all day when I was raising my son, and that's why he has issues with boundaries. I kept my mouth shut in the moment, but later, after the kids went to bed, I mentioned that maybe 2 hours of educational programming wouldn't rot their brains. That when my son was growing up, we had structure and discipline, but we weren't militant about every little thing. She got this look on her face like I'd just insulted her entire existence. She said I was undermining her parenting. I said I was just offering perspective from someone who successfully raised a kid. Things escalated from there. My son just sat there like a statue, not saying anything, while she went off about how they didn't need my outdated parenting advice. I left shortly after because the tension was unbearable. That was 4 days ago. Today I tried calling my son just to check in, see if things had cooled down. The call didn't go through. Tried again. Same thing. Then it hit me. He blocked me. I tried texting from my phone. The message showed as delivered, but I could tell something was off. So I tried from my tablet. Blocked there too. I actually called from my landline just to confirm I wasn't losing my mind. His wife answered. The contempt in her voice was immediate. She told me I was toxic and needed to respect their parenting choices. Then she hung up on me. Just like that. I'm toxic because I suggested educational TV for 2 hours wasn't child abuse. I spent the next hour just sitting there, staring at my phone. My son, the kid I raised by myself after his mother passed away when he was 12, just blocked me. Cut me off completely over a disagreement about screen time. Not even a conversation. Not even a chance to talk it through. Just blocked. The next morning I checked social media. Blocked on everything. Can't see photos of the kids anymore. Can't see any updates about the family. I didn't sleep well that night or the next few nights. Kept replaying the conversation in my head, trying to figure out where I went wrong so that suggesting reasonable screen time turned into this. I raised my son with structure and discipline, put him through college debt-free, gave him every advantage I could, set him up for success. And this is what I get. After about a week of silence, I sent an email. It's the only method of contact they haven't blocked. I kept it simple. Asked what I did that was so terrible that I deserved to be cut off from my grandchildren. Asked if we could please talk about this like adults. I waited 3 days. Nothing. Not a single response. I sent another email about a week later. I pointed out that I've been nothing but generous to their family. Reminded him about the house I bought them, about the trust funds, about the countless times I've helped them out when they were short on money, which happened more often than I'd like to admit. Still nothing. Then the holidays came around. I spent Christmas Eve alone. My son knows I have no other family. His mother is gone, my parents are gone. I'm an only child. The presents I'd bought for the kids were sitting in my guest room, wrapped and ready with nowhere to go. The day after Christmas I had a thought. Those trust funds I set up for the kids, they're revocable. I am the grantor. I maintain complete control until the funds are distributed when they turn 25. I can dissolve them whenever I want. I called my estate attorney to confirm. He said yes, absolutely. It's my money until it's not. The new year came and went. Not a word from my son. Not a happy new year text. Not an acknowledgement that I exist. Fine. The paperwork was processing and I was sleeping better than I had in weeks. It took about 2 weeks for everything to finalize. Both trust funds dissolved. $1 million back in my accounts. Money that had been earmarked for my grandchildren's great futures are now mine again. I decided to let them know. Sent an email with the subject line, Important Financial Update. Kept it businesslike and straightforward. Told him that since he'd chosen to prevent me from having any relationship with my grandchildren, I'd made the decision to dissolve the trust funds I'd established for them. Said the funds had been redistributed to my estate. Wished them all the best in their future endeavors without my involvement or financial support. Sent it mid-morning and watched it show as delivered. A few hours later, my phone rang from a number I didn't recognize. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity got the better of me. It was my son, calling from his wife's mother's phone. The panic in his voice was immediate and obvious. He was stuttering, asking if I was serious, if this was some kind of sick joke. I told him it was completely serious and I'd already finalized everything with my attorney. He started raising his voice, saying I couldn't do this to his kids, using the kids as weapons. I reminded him that I hadn't heard from him in over a month, that I'd been completely cut off for the crime of disagreeing with his wife about television, that I'd spent Christmas alone while presents for my grandchildren gathered dust in my house because I wasn't allowed to see them. He said his wife was processing and that I needed to give them space. Give them space? I laughed at that, told him the space was now permanent. The next day I got an email from my daughter-in-law. Subject line was, "How could you?" She called me every name you can imagine, said I was proving exactly why they needed to protect their children from me, called me manipulative, controlling, abusive, said the money doesn't buy relationships, and their kids would be better off without my toxic wealth. I replied with exactly one sentence asking if she had any problem with my decision then. She didn't respond. I took that $1 million and diversified my investments, set up a charitable foundation in my late wife's name. Whatever's left when I die will go there. Not a single penny to my son or his family. My attorney updated all my estate documents to reflect this. It's done and ironclad. My son kept trying for a while. Different numbers, different email addresses, even had family members reach out on his behalf. Each time I either didn't respond or give a flat no. There was nothing left to discuss. My attorney asked me several times if I was certain about the estate planning changes, making sure I understood that my son would inherit nothing when I died, that those kids would get nothing. I told him every time that I was absolutely certain. I started sleeping better. The anger had faded into something more like indifference. They were strangers to me now. People I used to know who'd decided I wasn't worth keeping around. Fine, I had better things to do with my time and my money than worry about people who'd thrown me away. Update. It's been about 3 months since I dissolved the trust funds and cut off contact. People have been messaging me asking what's happened since, so here's the update. No, there hasn't been any reconciliation. No, I don't regret anything. Yes, the money is still gone and it's staying gone. Here's where things get interesting though. My son and his wife are apparently having serious marriage problems. I found out through the same cousin who called me before. She's got a big mouth, but at least she keeps me informed. Turns out cutting me off wasn't actually a mutual decision like they tried to make it seem. My daughter-in-law was the one who demanded it, and my son just went along with it to keep the peace with her. Now that the money's gone, the cracks in their marriage are showing. She's furious that he didn't stand up to me before I dissolved the trusts. He's furious that her boundary-setting nonsense cost the kids $500,000 each. From what I hear, they're fighting constantly. Good. They can tear each other apart for all I care. I also learned they're panicking about college savings. Apparently, they'd told everyone, their friends, extended family, probably the kids' teachers, about the generous trust funds their children had waiting for them. Now they're realizing they have absolutely nothing saved for college, and their kids are 7 and 4. That's a lot of years to fund without grandpa's money backing them up. My daughter-in-law has apparently been running her mouth, too. According to various family members, I'm an abusive, controlling monster who held money over their heads and cut off the grandkids' trust funds because they wouldn't let me undermine their parenting. She's painting herself as this brave mother, protecting her children from a toxic grandfather. About 6 weeks ago, they listed the house for sale. I heard about it through family, and out of curiosity, I looked up the listing online. They were asking $1.2 million for a house I bought them for $950,000 about 6 years ago. The market had been good to them, even if their judgment hadn't been. The house sold fast, really fast. They got $1.3 million, above asking price. After they paid off what was left on their mortgage, and apparently they'd refinanced at some point to pull out equity, probably for renovations or something, they walked away with a decent profit. Good for them, I guess. They're moving into a smaller place across town. The listing mentioned something about lifestyle changes as the reason for downsizing. As for me, I've been doing well. Better than well, actually. I spent 3 weeks in Europe recently. Just got back and I'm already planning a trip to Asia for the fall. My daughter-in-law is apparently bitter about having to work more now. She's been complaining to people that she sacrificed her career for her kids and now has to start over. The lack of self-awareness is stunning. She's the one who demanded they cut me off. She's the one who posted about toxic family members and boundaries. My son's not doing much better from what I hear. He's working longer hours trying to keep up with their expenses. The new house is smaller, but still requires upkeep. 2 kids aren't cheap, and without the safety net of knowing college was fully funded, they're both stressed about the future. None of this is my problem. They wanted independence from my toxic influence. They got it. They're independent now, completely independent. No more money, no more help, no more safety net. This is what they asked for. The grandkids are apparently changing schools next year. Their old private school is too expensive now. They'll be going to public school instead. It's not a bad school from what I understand, but it's not the elite private education they were on track for. My son sent one final message through a family member last week, not asking for money this time, just wanted me to know that he understands now what happened. That his ex-wife, and yes, apparently they're heading for divorce now, had been manipulating the situation from the start. That he sees clearly now how things went wrong. Too little, too late. He's a grown man who made a grown man choices. He chose keeping the peace with her over maintaining a relationship with his only living parent. He chose to block me, to let her cut me out of their lives, to go along with calling me toxic. He can understand whatever he wants now. It doesn't change anything. The divorce news didn't surprise me. Money problems destroy marriages, and they went from comfortable to struggling real fast. From what I'm hearing through the family, the custody situation is going to be messy. She wants full custody and is still pushing the narrative that I'm toxic and my son's family is unsafe for the kids. He's fighting for 50-50 custody and apparently plans to move closer to his work once everything is finalized. Neither of them has reached out to me directly about any of this. I'm learning everything secondhand, which is exactly how I prefer it. I'm planning to spend the holidays overseas this year. Made friends with a couple during my Europe trip, and they invited me to spend some time with them. I'm actually looking forward to it. I've been going through my house too, getting rid of things. Photos of my son's family are boxed up in storage. The guest room that used to be set up for the grandkids when they visited is now a hobby space. My health is good, my finances are solid, and my conscience is clear. I gave them every opportunity to treat me with basic respect. They chose not to. I gave them multiple chances to communicate like adults. They chose silence and blocking instead. I offered them generosity and support for years. They took it for granted until it was gone. Being blocked by your only child over a disagreement about screen time? That's painful. Full stop. Spending Christmas alone while gifts for your grandkids sit unopened? Yep, totally get it. But dissolving the trust funds wasn't a neutral financial decision. It was a reaction. A very big, very permanent reaction. Yes, legally it was your money. Yes, you were within your rights. But the trusts weren't leverage over your son. They were gifts to your grandchildren. They're 7 and 4. They didn't block your number. They didn't ask for space. They didn't decide you were toxic. They're collateral damage in a power struggle between adults. At the same time, your son isn't blameless here. Blocking your parent instead of having a hard conversation is immature. If his wife pushed for no contact, he still made the decision to go along with it. He chose silence over dialogue. That's on him. What do you think? And thank you for joining us today in the rLounge. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. Until next time. And please put your chair back where you found it.